Hey, what is up guys, Raven here. So, welcome to another review. Well, we have comic book Fridays, but I realized whenever I'm gonna read a book, I'm gonna try, to do the review and post it, right? So, you kinda will see my readings here, but also, before I'm gonna go to the next one, to the next book, the next comic book, I wanna give my thoughts, to you. So, usually I've recorded it, previously, right, and then posted it during Comic Book Friday, but I think starting today we might have like one additional review per week, which hopefully it's gonna be great. Well, we're gonna be moving forward, we're gonna be touching upon many stuff, and hopefully they're gonna get it better. So today review is of course this book. We've got a Batman Dark Knight from New 52 volume 3 called Mad. And if you ever heard a term mad as a header, that is a theme of this book. And honestly, after that's gonna be Comic Book Friday for you, a bit spoiled, but yeah, after just ranting on Tom King for literally 40 minutes, it was refreshing. This book was refreshing to read, and it's one of those that I purchased early this year when we were in London. That was in the bargain bin for $2. It's like for a pound, right, like a pound box. So that was quite cool. Especially that it retails for $16.99 US dollars, of course, $19.99 Canadian dollars. So getting it for a pound, that was really cool. And there's one where I think there's a Clay that I still have to go and read. There are a few other ones that you will see coming. But from that time, there's still like the volume number 4. So volume number 3. Of course, we got many artists working on it. What kind of caught my attention is that we got a Szymon Kudryński, and it sounds kind of Polish, right? Unfortunately, he is only doing an art in the last... It's not even chapter, it's like epilogue, technically, kind of. And you can clearly... If you know Polish art and Polish artists that are, doing in this, like... I call it typical Polish art, because there is a distinct way people are taught here to draw, and he presents that in this book. But of course, you got Greg Hurwitz and Ethan Van Sciver work on the book, and honestly, Mad Hatter, I think, is not the easiest character to read for. He's a weird character, and I feel like they've presented the character here quite well. Of course, the book also has its flaws, but let's just go through like main plot points, what is good, and then we're gonna move on to what is bad. So I'm gonna try to like show the main points, but I'm not gonna go like page by page, because that would take a long time. That's what we're gonna have for Comic Book Fridays, for the single issue that are coming out on monthly, weekly, for me kind of monthly basis, because the orders are coming once per month for the book. So I think like now next one is gonna be the Tom King run, then the Comic Book Friday is the Joker, and of course we're gonna have some Assassin's Creed as well. So as I said, the book kind of starts in an ordinary way, where we have just Batman patrolling the city, and we know that a city gone mad. People are starting to get missing. And, well, for Gotham, which is a pretty bad place to live, let's be honest, right? Like, Gotham is, I think, the worst place to live. We kind of slowly learn that, well, there are massive kidnappings. There are those companies, that were set up by someone, and, well, there are, like, literally so many companies inside the companies that it's a huge rabbit hole, and you can't really get to the source, which is a really cool idea, to just, have Gotham Police Department and Batman trying to solve that puzzle. And that's where, the whole plot starts. And that's good. That part, is great. But at the same time, we've got, of course, another woman in Batman's life. And I like when they present at the beginning of the book a new female interest for Bruce. But my biggest problem is with those that you kind of know how it's gonna end, that relationship. And here, we're gonna deep dive into that relationship in a second, but when I saw that she was, I keep forgetting her name, again, not a memorable character, let me tell you that. Of course, here we got on the whole panels, because she is from, I believe she was from Belarus or Ukraine. like it tells you a lot, right? That, you know, I've read it and I just forgot the name. Ukrainian, I was right. She is a Ukrainian, and, you know, she is a strong woman that knows her what she can do, right? She came to country, met Bruce, and there they are, right? You know, trying to build some kind of a relationship together. But as we know, he has like canceled dates because, like, well, you know, there's a city that needs me, and that is quite cool. But that's for now for the relationship. Then, of course, we got to the Penguin, and the fact that we cut even for one panel to the Penguin does kind of annoys me, because it's said that this book kind of takes place in between the Emperor Penguin, and their Penguin is not really, you know, we got a brand new one slowly appearing. So that was kind of like, you know, really weird for me. It's like, oh wait, like, what time, like, where I should wait, I've messed up the reading order, what's up? So that was kind of like, oh, you know what, okay, maybe I've messed up something. So of course, you know, we also have the first glimpse of the Mad Hatter, and the way they drew Mad Hatter, let me tell you, brilliant. Like, the way they're drawing at him is creepy, he's really ugly, and you can see the madness in his eyes. Of course, he has also two, you know, big henchmen. So Batman goes on this big hunt, right? You know, he's slowly finding out, like, who those people are, who they're working for, and he tracks them down, right? There is gonna be one kidnapping. Like, I don't want to get into details. I don't want to spoil the whole thing for you. There's gonna be this big kidnapping because they are actually finding people. As of time, you know, at the book started, kind of don't know why they need people, right? We know only that Mad Hatter tells them to say the proper line. So we still don't know the motivation behind it. Like, so the first, you know, like half of the book, we go like, well, why he does that? We got a bit of backstory, of course, to the Jarvis, because that's his name. And the backstory, honestly, I think it's great. The way they've done it is perfect. Like, we got this, you know, regular kid that just, you know, is liked by his fellow colleagues, you know, in high school. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. I do apologize for that. Okay, so he's liked, you know, he's not a bad person by any means, and one day he discovers, like, well, mom, dad, I don't grow. I stopped growing. Like, I'm like, my friends are getting taller, they're growing, I'm still short. Of course, he's a son of a hat maker, right? So, you know, he makes him the hat, of course, the iconic hat that he wears, and they go to the doctors. Doctor tells him, like, listen, your son, you know, well, has this disorder, but there is this new therapy that actually can work. It's experimental one, so be careful. So of course they tell him, like, okay, listen, son, those pills will help you grow. So he starts taking the pills. But as he takes the pills, that is the moment where he starts losing his hair. That is, I don't know why I've done that. That's where he starts, you know, getting like a bit weird, but also that is the same time, you know, that he falls in love with the Alice. And, you know, the parents let him to take her on a date with them, of course, it's not a fun house. Here we call it a fun house. It is not a circus. I forgot the word. If you know the word, down there below in the comment section. Not circus. The thing when you have like a lot. Okay, you know what I'm saying. Wait, I'm gonna try to find it. It's not a circus. It's not a fun house. My goodness. You see, like, I'm trying. I found the place where it is. He called this a happy place over here, and this is a, well, wonderland. That is what it is, to a wonderland. And of course, we slowly learn that he's kidnapping all those people because he wants to recreate that one day, because it turns out that was his happiest day in life, which is his whole motivation. He's kidnapping those people. He's telling them to tell the line, which are the exact lines of people that were there, right? The works that were working in that wonderland. Which is a really cool motivation, especially that, you know, it's never told directly. It's, you know, through his memories and through what Mad Hatter says. So you kind of have to figure, okay, like that's what he's doing, right? You kind of can see, you know, the line, and even at the beginning of the comic book, that he tells one of the guys to say, help me, help me. He shouts them in the head. He goes like, well, listen, you should have said that better. And then, you know, in the middle of the book, you kind of go and you see a character from his fantastic day in the Wonderland that says that, because the two other characters like are battling out, and he's like, oh no, help me, right? Like trying to do something, which is really cool. So Batman stops the kidnapping, right? There's supposed to be a kidnapping of a kid that, well, kind of looked like one of the characters. Of course, Batman stops it, and well, the two henchmen are running away. They go to a van and they run away. Of course, Batman tracks them down. My biggest problem with that little scene, and I think this is just to move the plot, but I think that was one of those like cringe moments in that book where you go like, you know, Batman finds the van and goes like, oh, they left, but they were so big, like they couldn't move that fast. Where did they go? And, you know, he calls Alfred, like, Alfred, do you have any plans? Alfred says, like, no, there's nothing here. That's what the map says. And Batman just says, okay. Like, it's so obvious that there has to be something underground. But Batman is just like, well, guys were like that. They were like, you know, 400 kilos or like 1 million pounds, and like, all right, they just ran away, I guess. So that was kind of weird. So the Batman goes back, and we have another date with the Ukrainian woman. And now let's talk about her some more, okay? So talking about her a bit more is the Batman actually, Bruce, tells her he's the Batman. He literally tells her, like, hey, listen, I'm the Bat. Here's the Batcave, here's the Alfred, here's my beautiful everything. I was in shock. I was like, I know exactly how this is gonna end. Like, that moment, you know what's gonna happen to her. I mean, the book is a lot of years old, so I'm not, you know, it's not a spoiler. But, like, you exactly know what's gonna happen to her. Then, of course, you know, we got another sighting, right? There might be, you know, working in a warehouse, so the Batman goes down to the warehouse, gets rid of people that, you know, helps people that are not getting kidnapped, and he's onto the Mad Hatter. He's starting to figure out that Mad Hatter is behind everything. And as the story progresses, we have Batman actually searching, right? Going to those sewers, he's going back. Oh yeah, no, I forgot the big plot. Oh, I forgot one big thing. So, before the warehouse thing, there's a scene with Mad Hatter that he's pissed off that no one is playing their role right. So he literally kills half of the people and just drains them in a sewer. And he ditches them in the sewer, which is a really cool shot. I'm trying to find it. It's a really cool shot of I actually have to start like putting, you know, points here, of pool of tears. We got a whole pool of people, which at this point, even though, you know, you didn't want to get emotionally invested, you kind of are emotionally invested in those, like, oh wow, like this is, you feel something here and says like, oh wow, something is happening. So the Batman goes, you know, to the other guy that has a nightclub, and, you know, is supposed to be working with Mad Hatter. He goes there, and the guy's just like, oh, you see what you did to me, you put me, you know, now my eye is like, and my nose like, you know, this. So the Batman, you know, is not hitting him. He's like, you know, trying to put a chip on his phone so he can read what is happening on his phone. And he tells him, well, if I'm gonna see you again, I'm gonna literally knock out your jaw, which is gonna be important a bit later. So again, you know, we know that the signal actually comes from the place, sorry, I'm gonna put it on my lap, from the place where Batman was previously, right? You know, GCPD is working in a warehouse. They're trying to figure out what's happening. Batman is going to the sewers. And as Batman is going to the sewers, trying to figure out where the base is, where is the Mad Hatter, from where the bodies came from, this is the moment where the Mad Hatter uses his hats. And as we all know, the Mad Hatter is using his hats to control minds of people. And all the hats have cameras inside. So he's searching for his Alice. Right, he's searching for his perfect Alice. And as we have this scene, we also have another backstory that he went one day to the actual Alice house where the grown-up Alice lives, and he found her in the, just ironing some stuff, smoking just cigarette, right? And he goes like, wow, that's you. And she goes like, yeah, that's me, looking bad. And we have next panel that he kills her. Right, so we go back to what is happening. We've got, this beautiful shot of Gotham, all those zombies just looking for the perfect Alice. And then we found the perfect one. And if you guessed that at the beginning that the perfect one is going to be the date of Bruce, yes, that is a Ukrainian woman. So, of course, he kidnaps her. Right? We got to kidnap him. Batman is still searching. He still doesn't know that his, girl that knows everything now about him is being kidnapped. And so as this is happening, not only she's getting kidnapped, but also, she's getting interrogated. She's, was like, hey, you gotta play the role. And she doesn't go with that. She doesn't really care about that role. She is, edgy. She goes like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna tell you anything. So they're like, you know what? Let's just kill her. If she's gonna be like that, she's not my Alice. Let's just kill her. And as they're about to kill her, Mad Hatter goes like, actually, she might know who the Batman is. Do you know who the Batman is? Do you know? Of course, she doesn't tell. She's being thrown into a cell. She's, she's getting slowly beat up, to tell, as she's praying for Batman, for Bruce to come. And this is the moment where I, even right now, when I started to have, shivers, oh, wow, what, no. I know where this is going, and it's still gonna be a wow moment. So, the next scene is, there's something on. Actually, I'm gonna just show you the panel, because I think the last scene, right, we have her, right, being beaten up. So those are she's getting beat up. She never wants to tell. And then we got this beautiful, beautiful panel with her. We don't know what state she is in. I honestly thought she fainted. And we have Batman just slowly trying to just get to her, to find to her, to get to her. But he doesn't make it in time. She crashes down onto a bat signal. Iconic panel. I can say that. Even though I knew she's gonna die, because she knew the identity, she knew too much, it still shocked me. I was like, wow, this is gonna... Mad Hatter is gonna die. So now we know. Batman comes in, sees that. And you can tell. Batman just says one word. Send the burr rings. And he's just going after. To the point where even Jim Golden says, I've never seen him like that. He's not the Bat anymore. He's a freaking pterodactyl. And that is right. He's just going straight. He's just standing right here in front of the Mad Hatter's lair. He's like, open it, Mad Hatter. So it's getting open. He beats up everyone. Of course, there's a ton of people. They're being mind controlled. But of course, Mad Hatter poisons our Batman. To the point where Batman has no idea where he is. He's trying to hit. We see we see the new Joker. We see, the other villains appearing. And the Batman just hits the guy that was actually the one that he told him that he's gonna break his jaw. And he literally just gets his jaw ripped apart. And we've got a scene where just Batman goes after the Matter. Matter tells him like, I've drank so much tea, because again, tea is his. Well, the psychedelics are giving him powers, right? That are coming from tea. I have, my ultra level. But Batman just goes like, you know what? You pissed me off so much. I'm just gonna go for it. And he hits him. And he beats him viciously. And I love that. I was like, yes, Batman is off the leash. He just goes for it, beating the guy. And when Arthur just screamed like, don't do it, don't do it, you're gonna kill him, you're gonna kill him. And he throws him into the pool of water. And he just leaves him for a second. And then goes like, you're gonna be like them. Batman fights, grabs him, finds him. And, well, we got, slowly going to an end of the story. The bat signal is getting repaired. Batman is coming together. We don't have really, besides, it feels like they just moved on from that death, which I hope. Again, I'm gonna read Clay next. So this is next book. It's volume 4. Is Clay. I hope the death of this Ukrainian woman is gonna be haunting him. Is gonna be getting into his head. I really hope so, because that would be a really cool arc. So that is the end of the story, and now we move on to, of course, the small piece right over here, drawn by Szymon Kudryński, sorry. And this, of course, the piece, well, it's a bit of a mystery, but it has this, a Polish art style. There's nothing, nothing a lot to say. It's just a nice story, self-contained. It's called Midnight Dreary. Right, Once Upon a Midnight Dreary. It's a nice self-contained story about the Mad Hatter, and honestly, there's just nothing that adds to the mythos. It's just a cool way to end a book about the Mad Hatter. So, the whole story. I think, the story was actually pretty good, and even though, sometimes it lacked logic, right? Like Batman, just not figuring out that, well, if the van is here, the guys are not here, they must be underground. It was cool. My problem was, there was a lot too much, there was too much of emphasis on that woman that we knew is going to die, and we, from the start, because almost every girl, that Batman meets either dies or he drops her. Dumps her, sorry. And, at the same time, it was a cool motivation to see, for Batman to just get to the Mad Hatter and to beat him up, and maybe to mess his face even more. But I feel like, that was kind of a cheap ending. It was, you could have seen that happening, even though the build-up was cool, and it's one of those things when you know what's gonna happen, but you read because the dialogue, the story is written in a way you're like, you know what, I do enjoy it. But if I would be purchasing that book in single issues, so as it comes out, I would probably stop after issue 2 and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna wait for the trade paperback, or I'm just gonna read the whole story. There were moments that, especially the 3rd issue, where it was like, well, just taking too much time. It could have been more condensed. And you feel, because they've put this last story here as well by Kudryński. So, if I would have to tell anything about this book, do I recommend it? I mean, if you like the Mad Hatter, I think you must like Mad Hatter to really, really appreciate the book, his origins, and those stories that revolve around him. If you're not a fan of the character of a Mad Hatter, you're not gonna enjoy the book. Unfortunately, you will not enjoy the book, or you will, be in my position where you love Batman and you just want to see another story arc, but that one was not the best. Even though the death of all those people, even though it kind of, had a bit of an impact on the reader, it's not really impactful to the point where you really cared about those people, right? Where you're like, oh man, what happened? Why? I feel like it could have been, a bit more here, and not this extent to the story with the woman. Of course, yeah, we got, we got more pages with the woman because, she dies. So we want to have that impact. We want to have that, one moment, last hurrah of the story. All in all, again, maybe this is coming off the Tom King, right? Maybe that's gonna be, or why I'm gonna give it the I don't like, I'm torn, because I want to, honestly, if you're going off from Tom King, that's gonna be a 10 out of 10 book, but it's not, like, honestly it's not, but like coming off the Tom King run, definitely that would feel like it. I'm trying to, like, you know, things, I gave like Tom King run like 1, right? I think that is a solid 5. To be quite honest, yeah, that is a solid 5. It's not the worst book, not the best book. It's somewhere in the middle. It's a nice, mediocre book. Of course, again, like here, you know, don't read what they say here, because like they're, you know, just want to hype the book. But it's a nice, mediocre book. If you're a fan of a Mad Hatter, that's gonna be, you know, that's going up to 7 out of 10, because the story, the Mad Hatter is great. I'm just not a fan of Mad Hatter, so for me, it's just a 5 out of 10. Probably would have been less, but at least, you know, the death of that girl, you know, and seeing Batman just raging is really cool. But at the same time, you know, if that would be a different way, it could have been more. So yeah, I think, you know, 5 out of 10 is a cool mark. It's a cool score, and I think, you know, it's just that. If you can find it for £1 or in a dollar bin, you know, go for it. If you can find, you know, the single issues, I think they're worth for some of the art. Like, you know, this cover right here, like those, you know, for covers themselves, like they're gonna be worth, again, in a dollar bin, in a cent bin, you know, a 50-cent bin. Cause I don't think, I'm just like trying to go through the art. Like, you know, like those, that is a really cool cover, but like that is, you know, those are the highlights of the book, and it's just nice, mediocre one. I hope the Clay is gonna be better, because that's the next one I'm gonna read, so hopefully, you know, we're gonna see next week the Clay review, or maybe, you know, yeah, next week, I think so. So as I said, right, beautiful 5 out of 10. What's going to be happening next on the channel? We got, of course, me talking about the Tom King for Friday night Pokemon Comic Book Friday. So we're going to be talking about that. Then we're going to have Clay. Then we have like a few other videos. 3 Jokers are coming. I don't know if the 3 Jokers are going to be just a regular review here, because there's also Assassin's Creed coming. I know the first one came out, but I'm waiting for a second one, because they're going to send it in one batch, first one and second one. So we'll see how this is going to go. I also want to do a whole Comic Book Friday review, the 3 Jokers as a whole, so I'm probably going to be rereading that as well in a week or two, as everything's going to come out. So not only, you know, the issue 3 as a single issue, you know, how this stands out, but also how the whole story for the Comic Book Friday. If you have any, you know, other ideas, if you want to hear from me, let me know. So see you guys, you know, another Comic Book Friday coming this Friday, and then next week we got a Clay, volume number 4, Clay. So we'll see if this is actually going to be better than the 5 out of 10 book, because everything's better than Tom King's. So thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye, gonna have a fantastic rest of the day. Take care, bye.